What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, cloud swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys are feeling good. We got AJ in the house. Good morning to you. Good morning to Andy, Bill, Daniel, Jeff, Joe. John is in the house. Good morning to you, John. We got Kevin, Lauren, Martina. Michael's in the house. Good morning to you. Good morning to Rick, Tim, all my people out in YouTube land. I got one screen today. Uh, so I'll be back and forth with your comments, but all my lurkers in the background of YouTube land. Just not gonna say nothing all day. It's okay. I still love you. Hit that like and subscribe button. But yeah, it's going to be a big day. Unfortunately, I don't know about the first well, within the next 5 hours. I don't know if we're gonna get any headlines, anything too crazy. We do have yeah, you guys throwing Marvel in the chat. Yep, Marvel is moving. They had a conference. I've been relatively bullish on Marvel for the last, I don't know, 2 weeks, something like that. Looks like they're starting to break out. Interesting gap on that one. But today we do have Jerome Powell. We also have some headlines that we don't know if the U.S. is going to get involved in officially into the Israel-Iran conflict. We have no idea. We're just kind of waiting on that. That will be something I can't predict. That would be something that if it comes out, it comes out, and then we'll have to see kind of how the market wants to take it. But we don't know until we know on that one. Okay, well, hopefully we don't see any escalation. But there's one thing that comes out that's not Iran, Israel. That's not uh, Jerome Powell speaking, and that is the SEP, the SEP report, which comes out at 2, essentially the dot plot that tells us where the rest of the Federal Reserve head is at in terms of interest rates. So we want to see between, I believe it's like 4.25 and 4.5, somewhere in that range for that report. If it varies, that's going to be a bigger impact on the market. And I don't think Jerome Powell comes out. I mean, anything could happen. Maybe Jerome comes out and raises rates, lowers rates. Most likely, I think he does nothing today. His language in terms of how we look for July, how we look for maybe September, something like that. Those are comments that can spark the markets, but the SEP report is going to give us some hard information in terms of where the rest of the Fed thinks that the rates are going to be in the next 12 months. And if there's variations, if we can stay between the 4.25 and 4.5, we should be okay with that. If it's lower, that would be a really, really bullish sign. And then we push it off to Jerome Powell. So we'll see what happens. Surely Iran threatening us more will be ignored by Trump. Yeah. He's just, Trump is good to just brush things off. He's known for that, I think. So we'll see. We'll see. A lot of headlines, a lot of things that go on in the market. But the biggest thing, and we did have like jobless numbers. The market didn't even pretend to care about jobless claims today. So we'll see how it plays off. And then again, tomorrow, U.S. markets are closed, so we won't be here tomorrow. So it is a short week. And then you roll right into Friday, which is triple witching. And 2 days, but packed with a lot of stuff going on. So be careful today. Uh, Anytime there's a big event, usually the chop fest is in the morning. There'll be plenty of opportunities also to trade after 2 o'clock and throughout Jerome Powell. Just be very, very careful on how you do it. A lot of times the counter trend plays are the ways to go with a lot of those things, but we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. Right now, SPY is gapping up. So we didn't get any Trump was I think he called a press conference last night and then he canceled it. And I think the market got a little bit concerned because it was one of those press conferences where we kind of knew like, okay, that's Trump saying we're officially entering. But then he canceled it, and the market had a little relief. So we don't know how that's going to play out. But the market's very, very, and oil is up today too. So the market's still a little bit on edge about what's going to happen with that situation. So that is going to be an important one today. But we'll see how that kind of escalates throughout the day. Other than that, SPY, it is gap and go to the bullish side. So that's a good thing for the markets. You have your little bit of support right now at 598.19. Where did we get down to yesterday? Well, we ran right into this 596.94. That is a good support. Again, we've been in this range before. Over here, we had some consolidation. We got the break. This is the retest, and now we just met with this. This number is going to be huge in the market. If we start to break 596.94, that could lead to a bigger pullback. Next target, at least 594.61, but I think sentiment starts to shift a little bit further. We'll probably see a little bit of a deeper pullback before we rally to those all-time highs. Other than that, great retest yesterday. It came off of a gap and go. Felt kind of ugly getting there. Yesterday was just all ugly candles throughout the day. Let me see if I don't even know if the intraday time frame is going to do this justice, but let's see if I go back a little further. Every single time this like the market looked like it was about to just drop and break. Look how many wicks and hammers and everything else that kind of came in right around the zone. It felt like every single candle was a bear trap. So, and then the market did nothing realistically from that point. So we'll see. We'll see how today plays out. But at least we got a little bit of a gap and go. We'll rest our heads on that for now, and then again we'll see what 2 o'clock brings. It's going to be a very very important time frame today. Q's also getting a little bit of a gap up. Again, nothing too crazy, but you are up about $1.28 ish for the moment. So decent gap and go here. Still not really breaking through any crazy levels of support. We do have some. We started to break through. Even the low end of this one, we almost got into the VPOC from June 13th. So pretty healthy pullback for some of those bulls to buy at some of those levels, the patient ones sitting there waiting. And then we got to close right at that previous level from June 4th, which is somewhere around 529.25 ish. And you are starting to creep up above a couple others. You still have resistance above you, so let's look for the support for today. Support for today would be essentially the closing price of yesterday, which is that previous VPOC. The next one down on a smaller level, 527.51. I think if we start breaking that, that's our level that better get some puts protection because the markets could get a little crazier after that point, especially if we're closing below those prices. To the higher side, well, we don't have too much relief. We got 531.34, and then you got 532.21 to the higher side. If we even get up to that spot, that's at least decent that the bulls put some effort in today. So we'll see how that plays out. Bitcoin, we had a genius bill get passed yesterday. It was very humbling bill. Whoever wrote that one, the genius bill. So in regards to stable coins, kind of being pegged to the US dollar, but you have Bitcoin is chilling, not looking too great yet. So no real crazy bounce. Decent resistance somewhere now at 104.944. You got your next support all the way down to 103.697. Kind of in between, but not looking super strong quite yet. You really have to start getting back above 104.482, and then that key level we just talked about for the bulls to really start to come in. Maybe it happens today. You have a little bit of a TTM squeeze on it, but nothing too really crazy on that one. Let's take a look at Marvell. I think they had like 35 upgrades today, maybe. So I'm rounding. I'm just taking a random stab at it. But a whole bunch of upgrades. They had their conference yesterday. Really good gap. This is a gap and go from yesterday. You are at least taking out that full candle. You're taking out that wick. You got your 200 coming in slowly. Yesterday's candle doesn't really matter. We kind of open and close inside day. So I'm wondering if we get a little bit of a pullback on this one, kind of just reacting off the candle from Monday as opposed to yesterday. Otherwise, your resistance on this one, a big one, you have 74.32, and then you have your 200 EMA right above you. So unless you think we can get above not 74.42, 74.32, if we could get above that and that 200 is not going to be a distraction for the bulls, the gap fill target for me would be up to like 89.23. That's a lot of room. And then 82.69. I would like to see a sell off. This might be one too. If the markets do tend to rally today, if something good or positive happens, look for these ones with the strength on it. Um, they might go a little bit more, but especially if you get a good price, I would love to see a print back to like $70.69. I don't know if I'm going to get that today, but we'll see. But yeah, a nice move if you're holding it. Congrats, that looks good. There was another ticker, Marvell. We got NVDA. All right, let's take a look at NVIDIA. Um, really nice consolidation. Good consolidation. You do have a gap and go. Technically for today, you're opening essentially where we opened yesterday. So any bears at all that came in a little bit trapped, are they going to be that concerned? I don't know how panicked they might be. Even if they bought at the absolute low, they're maybe a little sad. I don't know if they're freaking out though. Yeah, 144.50. You have a nice whole number, but you also have that VPOC from June 12th. So I think that's going to be your first target if we get through that. Your immediate next target is 144.81. And then if you get above that at all, I think you're free to run it up again. But inside day, still inside day of this all of this today so far, and yesterday has just been inside of Monday's candle, which was a gap and go. We did have a higher VPOC from Monday than that previous little candle on the June 12th. So not bad. I think you still got bullish momentum. Does this one want to break before we get to Jerome Powell? I don't know. This one I think might be a little bit more choppy before we get the break, but I'm not going to trade it bullish. I don't really want to trade it bearish, but you do have some room down to the downside. So the bearish side of things is 143.37. Your bullish case, you got a lot of room, but I want to see that 144.81 breakout first. AMD had a nice little gap. Yesterday was it was under a little bit of selling pressure, but again, what kind of gap was this one? We talked about this one yesterday. This was a retest gap. All we really did was come right into that VPOC. The bulls held this thing strong, somewhere around this 126.86. You've had a lot of momentum coming in on Monday on this one. I don't think that momentum has really evaporated yet. The next target I still got to 129.64. However, we've been there before, as recent as yesterday. I also have 130.54. We've been there as recent as yesterday. And then I think your next immediate target takes you to like 132.49. I think if I had to choose, and this is opening inside day, it is a gap and go though. So maybe if you get some pullbacks on this one or little consolidation or chop, I think I might rather take AMD over NVIDIA. There's not much really in the way, and anything that is, we've already kind of been to that zone before. So if I had to choose, I think AMD yesterday was just more of a rest candle than anything. But I think you still have some pretty good momentum in that one. Datadog is a really good gap. Retest gap. Mm. Datadog's, this is 4 days ago. Chief Revenue Officer sells shares. I don't have any other news for today. You have a lot of room a decent amount of room. 128.91 will be your next target. All right, we'll get this one higher. It is a retest gap, so maybe not the first tick out of the gate. With this market though, just all in on the first tick because it's not a very forgiving market that we're in. As soon as that bell rings, we'll just fly for no reason. So, man, my trading view is gonna be a little slower today, looks like. Let's get this one as high as possible. But if we get a high wave candle, if we get a little bit of a pullback, I like that location a lot where we're opening. I don't know if I want to see a huge pullback on it. We're almost at the top of this list. Look at this thing go. It's incredibly fun. Yeah, I'll get that up there too. Let's see. We got Baba. Baba with a little bit of a gap down, I believe, today, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, kind of just doing its thing for now. But that is a gap down, retesting the opening price of this previous candle, you're right now under some kind of support. Could be a fade opportunity from yesterday, but yesterday was inside day. I think you're gonna go more of gap and go situation. Probably Baba's gonna be a little bit more under pressure, at least until I'm not planning on going long on this one until about 112.60. That would be my next spot to see if you get some bids start to come in. If it starts to break this 112.60, you have a lot of room to the downside. Essentially, right at that 200 EMA, which would take you into like 108.35. So potential short candidate if we break that 112.60 on Baba. NUE. This one looks pretty interesting, minus the resistance. Not too far away. Probably have some room on it though. Look for targets like 127.43. They got divvies. 55-cent divvy. Um, I would need a. I don't. I. That's still about $2. So it's not bad. Yeah, you got about almost exactly $2 until targets, maybe slightly over. Uh, let's see if we get a little pullback on this one. 124.53. If that breaks down, I wouldn't be touching it till 122.37. And at least worst case, you get better risk reward on this one. But pretty good gap. You are gapping above the previous little pivot. You have some room on this one. NUE, I feel like is one of those stocks that can do something stupidly crazy and wild. So I'm looking right now for targets at 127-ish, 120.28, somewhere up in that zone. If it does anything crazy, you're looking for like 129. That gives you about $4 to the higher side, so that's not bad. Roblox has to retest sometime. That's famous last words, Tim. Uh-huh. This is the it's either you it's either you're in a stock that does nothing except chop sideways forever, or you just have to chase things, aka Roblox. Yeah, another nice little gap up on this one as well. Again, I don't really have too much to go off of in terms of targets to the higher side, but uh, I wouldn't go short that one. Not yet. Give me a reversal candle. Give me something that looks decent. This has just been a straight up move. You're up over 100% now since April, which is absolutely bonkers. But uh, right now, it doesn't look like the day. Not yet, at least. Maybe if we start breaking through like $100.33, you might get that start of the pullback for now. I don't know. It doesn't seem like it wants to retest. All right, Wendy in YouTube land today. Okay, and she wants to take a look at two stocks we did not take a look at. So let's take a look at Lulu. Lulu, very interesting. It looks to me like it wants to head lower. This is an interesting buy spot. This is exactly where the bulls came in the last time when we had a nice little dip. However, this is a pretty pure free fall through all of that. The other thing I don't love on Lulu, and I own it, and I will be buying some more Lulu next month, most likely, as an add-on. I don't know. We'll see what's out there. But I do want to build the position on this one. They the earnings are so good. I know competition. Nobody wears pants anymore, apparently. So I don't know. But it looks pretty weak on the weekly basis. There's not much volume holding you up, so but you're right around that previous move. It looks like it wants lower. Maybe takes us even as low as 180, somewhere around there. Maybe get a little support starting to build around 203 roughly from a weekly perspective. But yeah, you got to get back above 316 for really good sentiment for the bulls on this one. Otherwise, yeah, for right now, I like it to the shorter side. Probably having some puts protection. Playing it to the short side makes sense. You do have a little bit of a gap and go today, but besides the fact that we did bounce here before, you are looking at one last final VPOC on this one, 233.27, maybe a tad lower than that. 233. If we start breaking 233, that's when you probably want to look for some of those shorts. I'll add in a little alert. 233. Anything else for right now? is an interesting spot for bulls to maybe want to try to step in and save this thing, but right now looks pretty rough. Tesla, Tessie. Tessie with a little bit of gap up today. Again, not loving the way you get there. We're looking at these two levels. Um, where we got that close was right into that last VPOC. It's on the edge. It's on the edge. If you are a buyer, if you like Tessie, and maybe long term, but even for like a trade, very interesting spot to go long on Tesla, even though, again, rough candle on how to get there, but you have really good risk to reward if you are bullish at this point. You don't want to see really yesterday's candle get taken out. If you do, you have a lot of room down to, I think we had like 303, although this is showing me, yeah, first spot is about 303, and then you maybe make it to like $300. So you have decent room to the downside if this zone doesn't hold. So risk to reward wise, if you're bullish, this is probably your spot. If you're bearish, wait a little bit, see if this one could break down, or jump in ahead of time and hope it breaks down. But anything under like 316.70 would be an interesting spot to then start to go short, and you have a lot of room. So you're right at like you're right on the cliff, and it's does Tessie want to jump or not? And I thought we don't we have the full self-driving thing in next week? Did that get rescheduled again? But I thought we had that next week, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm surprised. I thought we would, unless this was the buy into that conference, and now we're just selling off and looking for that 300 again. But for right now, I like it long. If we start to break down that 316.78 zone, looks a little bit to the shorter side. Bijal says AMD. Yeah. How did we? Are we added tickers? Did we not? Did we cover all the tickers? This is the first day in a while. We've gotten to every single one. Other ones to look for. So obviously a lot of volume on Reddit. Reddit just woke up yesterday and just ran like an absolute beast. We tried to play a little bit of a. Oh, we were looking for a double bottom on it, so it was kind of lining up for it. Other than that, um, that is a pretty impressive reversal candle. Maybe you want to see some like a better spot to go short, but 134.43, I think you got some room down to 126 would be your next target if this one continues to sell. I have this one pretty high on my list for now, just in case the market wants to sell. Again, the ones that look like they might pull back or look a little weaker, the Lulus, have those on your list for if the market wants to go slightly to the negative side. If not, have like the Marvels, the Datadogs, things like that, which already has some pre-market strength in it already. We got Celsius is another one that is on my list. It looks pretty decent for today. You got a bullish engulfing candle following a decent gap up. And then today we were opening above that VPOC from yesterday as well. So to me, that looks like a decent open if we get some kind of high wave candle on Celsius. We did not look at Boeing. Boeing underneath 200. Mm, underneath a pretty key VPOC. Maybe if you want to get a quick buy in here, not buying, but if people do buy this one and stalls out around 199.82, 199.80, we'll say, somewhere in that zone. But that looks a little bit short. You do have some support around 198.19. We've already been there. Easier to break down. I think your next target would be about 194.84. That gives you some decent room to the downside. We haven't quite been there. We got pretty close to the point where if we get down there again, that might break, and then you might have, I don't know about today, but maybe today. We have a lot of news coming out today, so we'll see which way the market wants to take everything. But yeah, that's not looking too great. I think shorting Boeing uh probably, and even if you want to take a swing on this one, stops above 205.58, I think would be decent. You have some decent room to the downside, so you got about $5 till you get stopped. And yeah, right now it's about $5 to the downside. Maybe hit this 192. That would get you about a 1.2 on that one. And a bigger move if we could break down somewhere around 185. So you do have some decent risk reward on this one if you want to attempt the short. Yeah, I kind of like it. Kind of like it. All right, let's see. YouTube, you guys are very quiet today. Even in the chat, everyone is just waiting for Jerome Powell. If this is like my meter. So based on how many comments are coming into YouTube, based on how many comments are in the chat, we're very light today. That is my indicator that volume is going to be atrocious in the very early morning until we get something. All right, let's see how that plays out. Amazon had a good couple 2 days. Yesterday we didn't break out of yesterday's candle. We sold right back. So inside day candle did close red on the day, however, and we're still inside of this, but pretty good location at open for Amazon, and then you got room to like 215.84. So we'll see how that plays out. Chewy is another one, just kind of nothing happening there. Nphase got clapped with every other solar company. Interesting hammer on the daily. Again, the whole business is messed up on every single potential solar anything. If the subsidies are gonna, the subsidies aren't gone yet, so they have some time. If they phase it out by 2028, they still have time to operate as normal and pivot and figure out the next move. But interesting hammer, really good volume. Watch Nphase if it starts to break the high of yesterday. You do have a pretty good gap fill if that happens. I don't know if that happens today. Let's see. TTD still under a little bit of pressure for today. Maybe an interesting short. You do have your gap fill. I think people are looking for probably down to like $60. It gives you about $7.60 from here. If you're going to try to take a swing on this one, maybe you want your stops somewhere above 71.12. And that would be another one I would probably consider to the short side, fill that gap, and then maybe get some bids from that point. Microsoft, which has been super strong, super duper strong, is just chilling today. Nothing too crazy. Unless you start breaking out of the prior VPOC from 2 days ago. That's 480.15. Let's see if we get above that. SOFI, which has been slowly creeping up. The SEP will affect probably SoFi's, PayPal's, probably the banks. So again, if that interest rate looks lower than the 4.25 to 4.5 range, that would be a little hint that we might get more than one rate cut this year. That might be a hint that we might get a rate cut sooner than usual. And some of these SoFis and other tech companies with heavy debt could get some benefit move to it as well. But that is the morning bell. So everybody in YouTube land, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button if you've not done so already. Keep in mind, we are not here tomorrow. The market is closed. Make your plays today if you want anything into Friday. You guys are awesome, and I'll catch you guys later. Later, guys.